right, welcome to Haunters Hangout. This is season 10. This is our season finale with all the pro haunters. You guys are going to enjoy it. You're going to love all the information they have to give. We're going to try to get through the prizes real quick. And we have Phil as our host, and we have Pandora's going to do all the prizes. And we're going to try to hurry up and get through it because there's a lot of information that we have to go through. So without any ado, Pandora.
Without any ado, hello. Welcome, everybody. Season finale, season 10. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We are so excited about our guest tonight. This is going to be a fantastic show. Tonight, just to win a prize, all you need to do is ask a question of our panelists, of our guests, and you're automatically entered to win one of these fantastic prizes. So thank you so much to our sponsors all this season, giving out amazing prizes. We are so grateful. Make sure you visit them for all your haunt needs. And before I run through the list of prizes, please remember to make sure to go to streamyard.com/Facebook to give the app permission for us to see your name in the comments so that we can put that up on screen and we know who's actually commenting to us. We would appreciate that greatly. And with that, for tonight, from Toxic Effects, you can choose any one of the prizes of your choice from the last 10 shows, should you win. From Horror Ornaments, we have the mistletoe ornament. From Fright Night Studios, we have a male head on a platter. From Scarlet Badges, 10 assorted badges. From 916 Productions, $25 off. From the Halloween Shirt Company, a free shirt. Froggy's Fog, a gallon of bog fog. From Ned's LEDs, we have LED candle pack. Drop Dead Design Studios, 25% off. From Nightmare Makers, 2 unfinished skulls. From Sam Haynes, a free download. From Atmos Effects, a free download. From Fright Props, $25 off. From Rotten Prop Works, a set of zombie arms. From Monsters Alive, a grab bag gift. From Cobwebs and Candlesticks, a grab bag gift. And Monster Tutorials, thank you, Eduardo, decided to go ahead and throw in an extra sticker pack for this week as a thank you for being on the show. We appreciate you, Eduardo. Thank you. From VFX, the big one tonight, guys, won a Minion Effects system. And from Deoblo, that's right, our fearless leader, our founder, is giving away an unfinished mask tonight. Unless you would like it finished by him, at which point you just need to wait for him to get back from vacation. And then talk to him about how you want to finish that up.
I don't want to give him a huge man.
We'll go over how you go about claiming your prizes towards the end of the show when we announce the winners. But for now, welcome to our fabulous guests and Phil.
Yeah. So, guys, cheers! Season finale. Woo!
Cheers!
Big day. Finale! Cinco de Mayo, Revenge of the 5th, whatever you want to call it. So it's a great day. So we have a great show for you guys tonight. This is our pro show. So this is where you guys ask your questions, pick their brains. They have been doing this for many years. They are the ones you guys want to ask and get all your information from. We have some awesome pictures to show you guys of all the work that they do every year, and it's going to blow you guys away. I can't wait to start showing you guys. And, well, let's get the show started. Like we said, we got a lot to do tonight. So, John, I'm going to pass it over to you. John, why don't you introduce yourself, where you're from, and, give us a little background.
All right, everyone. Hi, I am John Laflamboy. Thank you very much for having me on the show, especially the finale. Thank you. I wore a party shirt for you. I am the founder of Zombie Army Productions, also the owner-operator of Hell's Gate Haunted House, and for the last 23 years, I've been the producer, designer, and operator over at Statesville Haunted Prison.
Awesome. All right, very good.
Wait. How'd you get started? I want to know how he got started. What encouraged him to start his own hunt?
Wait, when did I get started?
Yeah, what encouraged you?
Yeah, give us the background.
Sure. A little background. I went to school for theater. I'm a theater guy. And we were doing fundraisers at our theater to help raise money to send us all to auditions, theater conferences. And I pitched the idea that theater people should be doing haunted houses instead of bake sales. Because you get a bake sale and the cookies taste like crap. And we made like $76. So my first entry into this wild world was pitching an idea to do a haunted house in an old abandoned shoe store in the mall in Carbondale, Illinois. And those 4 rooms raised us $6,000 in 2 weeks off a $900 investment. And I thought I had something. I was like, okay, all right. I don't want to be a starving actor, so this could be cool. And I wrote a thesis, graduated college with my thesis, and was very lucky to meet Paul Siegel, the owner of Cottonwood Farms. And he was doing Statesville Haunted Barn and Haunted Hayride, where it was like ghost stories on a hayride. And I came in, all my crazy theater ideas and pitched my idea to Paul Siegel, and I was very, very lucky that he's like, yeah, weirdo, there's the barn. Go at it. That was my beginning. That was my end.
Nice.
That's awesome. And we all start somewhere, man. So that's a great background, man. That's awesome. All right, we're going to move over now to Bart and Michael. Why don't you guys introduce yourself?
That's weird. I feel like I should fix the names though, because it looks like I'm Bart and you're Michael.
It sure
It's
does,
really
doesn't
confusing. Wow. Well, kind of like John, I was like a theater guy when I was like back in school many years ago, and kind of did similar to what he did, but with the March of Dimes. The March of Dimes had come to our theater group, actually for like 6 different high schools, and they wanted to do a haunt in this old 150-year-old house. And basically, they just let everybody come up with ideas from each of the different theater groups from each school. And we had so many ideas that they're like, everyone was going to get a room. And we had so many ideas. They were like, we're going to give you guys like 3 rooms because hardly anybody else is coming up with anything. And you guys are obviously insane. So got to work with the March of Dimes for a couple of years. That didn't really do much for a while. But in 1989, I met a gentleman by the name of Lance Pope. Just happened to go into a mall. There was like this little comic convention thing going on, and he had a table set up. I'd never heard of him, and he had his stuff all out on the table talking about Haunted Verdun Manor that he was getting ready to open up from a smaller haunt to a much larger haunt that year. And I started talking with him, and I was like, man, the question he always would get asked, hey, does anybody ever come out like help you guys or anything? And he's like, oh yeah, all the time. And so I said, okay, cool, I'm going to come out and help you. And so, of course, I was working at Pepperidge Farm at the time. So I was like getting up in the morning at 2 o'clock, working until like noon. Then I would drive for an hour to get out to the haunt to go to work with him. And he was shocked because after that first day, I kept showing up. And by that summer, the year that he was going to open up, I quit my job. He bought a trailer and I moved out there. And so he and I shared the trailer. And so I worked out there with him for a few years before I kind of moved on and started working on with other haunts. But of course, I went back to him to work with him later again back in 2000, like right before he passed away. But so he was really the one that got me my start and was still, my best friend of all time, my mentor. And I still miss
that
him.
must hurt, Bart. That hurts. That
Yeah,
hurts.
It does.
You're second right after. That's how I got my start. I just kind of fell into it really, but I've loved doing it now for like 31 years, I guess. So, and finally now doing it full time, because I only got to do it full time for a few years with him. And then in 2018, Tara and the Corn called me from Texas and was like, hey, you want to come up here and work for us? I'm like, I guess. And came up here and they interviewed me. And within I basically moved like 3 months later and came up here and moved my family up like 6 months later. And so now I've been doing only this now for the last 4 years. And it's 5 years now, I guess. It's been great.
Woohoo, Colorado.
Well, thanks, Bart. That was a great story, Bart.
I know, right?
I'm just kidding, Mike. I'm just kidding, Mike.
So,
No, he's gonna change it now. Just watch.
Yeah.
It's gonna bug him.
Yeah.
So I suck at introducing myself, but I'm Bart. I'm the show director here at Terror in the Corn. I have a similar story to him on starting is that in 1992, of course, I did my own haunts at my home and all that, but just in a side yard and stuff like that. But in 92, I went to a haunt way out in the middle of nowhere, and it was Haunted Verdun Manor by Lance Pope. went through it. Of course, the guy and the girl I was with, I was a third wheel. The guy and the girl I was with, she had a panic attack, and they had to escort them out. And they're like, "You coming?" And I went, "No, I'm going through." I'll see y'all in the parking lot. And so, as I'm sitting there with with his name was Wolf, but I mean he was in full werewolf costume, and started talking to him because I was waiting on the next group to go with the next group. I didn't know what to do at the time, and I said, "Okay, this is awesome. How do I work here?" And he goes, "Go around to the back once you exit and talk to Lance." And so that's what I did. I went around back and said, "Hey, I want to work." He goes, "When can you work?" "Tomorrow night. I'll be here tomorrow night." So I acted that whole first year and for the rest of the season. And coming that next summer in '93, I showed up in the summer and go, "Hey, can I help? Can I help with anything?" And he goes, "Yeah." And of course, you always get those people that want to help. And of course, they want to do the fun stuff and they don't want to put the legwork in and all that. And so I weed eated my first there. I didn't know he was putting me through a test, but that's basically what he goes, "I need you to weed eat the whole haunt." So I did. I weed eated the whole haunt. And he goes, "All right, come back tomorrow." And of course, the next day I was working on my first scene. So then, of course, years after that, I like him, he's actually stayed in the trailer. I would quit my job at around end of July, around August, and go out there and work and stay at his workshop and actually have a little cot. And that's where I stayed. And I would work until November. Then I would go work at another job. And I did that for several years. And then 2004, we left. And then in 2007, I opened up my own haunt called the Haunt House. And that went on for till 2013. And I worked for Dark Hour, worked for Miller's Thrillers, worked for Haunted Schoolhouse, and then 2 years ago ended up here at Terror in the Corn 1 week before the pandemic hit.
Wow.
It's close. They would not have hired him.
Yeah.
Yep.
From the day I got here, I tried to convince them to hire him and move him here because I swore to him we would work together again after the Haunted House and Dark Hour. I was like, "Okay, we're going to work together again." And I was relentless. According to the owners, I was relentless for like 3 years. I was like, "You really need to hire him." And then they finally did. And yeah, the pandemic hit like the week after he moved up here. And so it probably would not, which was cool. We still got to work. We still opened. It was great. But yeah, it was, if it had been just off by a week, we would not be working together again right now.
Wow.
So do you guys just like pack up, like any new haunt you go to, you just pack up the family and go? Or
yes, my poor wife and child, man. Oh my gosh. We moved 4 times.
I've only done it this once. Texas, just the one time.
Like
We moved to Tennessee, then to Ohio, back to Texas, and then we moved here. It was
Well,
It's
we are
dedication.
very, very, very happy to,
this is it. Yeah.
including the whole audience. We're very, very happy to see the non-intimate haunt couple back together again.
No, I'm not shaking my leg.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We'll come back and show some of your work. And next up, I hope their names are right here in order.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Well, we got it right the first time. Yeah, we totally got it right the first time. Jeez. So I gotta go now, right? This is what's happening.
Yeah.
You are first. Oh, God, why do I gotta be? Oh, I'm last. All right, either way, so I'm Paul. I guess I'm the director of operations for Markoff's Haunted Forest, and I have been there 26 years. I started as a kid trick-or-treating like everybody else did, and then decided, no, a couple friends down the street, my brother and I, we would build a little haunt in the front yard, and we'd pack gunpowder into film cases and make ghosts pop out of the trees. And the parents are looking at us like we're absolutely ridiculous. But, they're like, okay, well, cool. At least we don't have a big dentist bill because they're not going trick-or-treating. Like, we'd rather chase after people with chainsaws and weed whackers and whatever else we could find. So, you fast forward a couple years from there, and we did a benefit haunt for a local museum in Albany, Maryland. It was the Sandy Spring Museum. And we did a haunt in the strip mall. And it was pretty successful the first year. We went to do it the second year, and we're going through all the paces, we're doing the things, and we saw this janky-ass flyer. It was on an orange piece of paper. It was like, "Come to Markoff's Haunted Spooktacular," or whatever the hell they called it. And we're like, what the hell is this? So we wrapped up our show, and we decided one weekend we'd go out there and see what they had to do. And it was so rudimentary. And we talked to the owners and they said, hey, yeah, what'd you guys think? We're like, yeah, well, we could help you. And then it was like, poof, it happened. And that was 26 years ago. And so we brought the whole crew out and we just started working with these guys for the longest time, kept falling more and more in love and doing more things and just growing what was happening out there. And it was so ridiculous. We would put all of our stuff in a backpack and troll out, traipse through the woods, set it all up, light the little fire. Like a buddy of mine would swing on a rope, like he was a bodybuilder, so he was just svelte. And all the girls like, oh my God. And he had a mask on. And yeah, it was so ridiculous. We had a generator in the creek bed and it would die every single 5-20 minutes because we overloaded the shit out of the damn thing. We'd all go running through the woods, through the briar patch to turn the damn thing back on. And, just business. And a good night was probably like 200 people, 300 people, maybe. Like, yeah, we're really making it. And fast forward again, probably a good 10 years, they looked at me and said, hey, we're going to do this project in the National Harbor, which is an up and coming spot in DC. Kaleva, which is our core business, and we'll get to that later, set up this huge, giant pirate ship. It was amazing. It was 300 feet long. It had zip line towers and a big thing you could climb up. But the MGM and everybody else said, hey, you know what? We really want to haunt out there. So we want to hire you full time to work for us, design a haunt. So we did the Haunted Harbor. And it was this ghostly haunted harbor town with low-lying fog and just all the coolest special effects that I spent their money on. Because, hey, I have no budget. Cool, let's make this thing happen. So we really did it up, and it was very successful. However, it didn't necessarily attract the clientele that MGM was looking to have there. So it was a one-year deal. But since then, I was hired on full-time to be with Markoff's and just kind of help grow their business and to expand. And it's just been a dream job, from being in the construction field and everything else to being able to go and be a full-time haunter and help grow somebody else's business and just kind of become like one of the faces of the company along with Dave. Like absolute dream job. To be a scare actor to director of operations is kind of my story on things.
Amazing. So good. What about you, Dave?
Cool story, Paul.
Cool story, bro. Cool story. I gotta go after this guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
Honestly. I don't know why I still work with you. So I'm the young buck in the crowd. I've only been doing this for 15 years. But much like Paul, I started out doing home stuff in my front yard. I was always the one to decorate the house.
You want my cherry?
And yes.
Okay, here you go.
Nice. I was always the one to decorate the house, put on lights, grab the old tape with the spooky sounds, put it in the tape player, and then jump out of the bushes and scare people. And so when the Markoff started in 1992, we, of course, went out to it. And I went almost every single year.
I probably scared the shit out of you.
You probably did.
Yeah, I was carting on, like with the loudspeaker, hiding behind the toilet, going, ah! That was my gig. Yeah, that was my thing.
Yeah. But so our families go back together, the Markoffs and mine. My dad was their rock climbing instructor when they were summer camp kids. And so years later, 2007, I break my back rock climbing out in Zion National Park where I was working. Came back home and Paul and I both work for a spot. It's called Kaleva. That's what we do year round. We're a nonprofit outdoor school, and Markoff's happens to be the fundraiser for that nonprofit. And so the Haunted Forest is a part of it. So I came on board. It was one of those, they said, hey, Dave, do you know how to run a zip line? I was like, yeah, I do. And they're like, oh, can you do it for a group of Boy Scouts right now? I was like, sure thing. So hopped in there. That was my interview, was running a zip line. And then immediately was like, well, if I'm working for Kaleva, I'm working for the Haunted Forest.
Oh, no. It was more like, hey, who wants to run the hayride? It's like rock, paper, scissors.
Exactly.
That guy.
Exactly. So I did lose in the game of rock, paper, scissors. And that's what gave me the not so awesome haunted hayride, which was a couple old farm-all tractors, like 1940 something farm-all tractors. I think there was one or two, maybe two hay wagons. And we went in a little tiny figure eight loop. And it was all the 12 to 14-year-old kids that weren't old enough to actually scare in the woods that I got stuck with. But over time, we took it and no, but every year, like I grew it and grew it and grew it. To the point where it was a side attraction, and now it's huge. A standalone feature in our haunt. So we now have a designated thing. It's not just a hayride. It's called the Town. It's a Wild West themed ghost town out on the edge of our property. So you do take a tractor ride to get out there. You get dropped off on the edge of a cornfield.
Yeah.
and
It's
wander
pretty-
your way through.
Using
and
all the haunted harbor buildings that I
Yeah.
built like 5 or 6 years before, like, oh, let's do something with them. Bam. Sorry.
Exactly.
So this is your time, Dave. I'm so
We got bored. Well, I had the bright idea of we drove through our big hay barn. So we're talking like stacks of round bales going up, and we were driving through, and everybody was used to going through, and zombies would crawl on the wagon because they're actual hay wagons, not these cut-off ones with the cages. I mean, full-on cages. So
dangerous.
zombies would
wagons.
climb up, get shot, fall off, and so people were expecting that. And that year that we started this whole thing, we pulled in. The lights had been blue, and all of a sudden they went dark, and red beacons are going off, and it's an emergency message telling everybody to get off the wagons. And they're like, haha, that's funny. I was like, no, get off. And so we forced everybody off the hay wagons out in the middle of the attraction, and people were freaking out. And I was like, this is great. I want to keep doing this. And so we just, again, built it up, and it's become the beast known as the town. So
That's awesome.
I've been doing it for 15 years and loving every minute of it.
Very good.
I'm still
Very
trying to figure out the whole cherry thing, but
It was getting weird. It's a little weird.
This is a Maryland thing, all right?
Yeah.
Just stop.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. So I saw a question come through. What is our drinking word tonight? What
All the
should
time.
we make it? Yeah, I know. Drink all
Hello?
the time. Yeah.
This is a tough one tonight.
I know. We'll have to figure this one out. But
I think we should go with actor, only because every single one of these
Question coming through our
guests, I think, are gonna be talking about their actors.
Performer. We have to say performer.
yeah, make it
Oh, what? You don't want to
performance
see everybody get drunk on the other side of the screen? Come on.
Paul's
like
freshening
that.
up his
That's
drink
fun.
right now.
Here we go.
So let me ask my
Here's to the
actor.
actors.
He's ready to talk about actors.
Yes. I wish I was sitting on the couch with my popcorn right now.
I'm sitting on the couch with my popcorn. Hey.
And just so you guys know, there are a ton of questions already coming in.
Bring 'em.
We won't get to all of them tonight, likely. So if y'all have time tomorrow, tonight, after the show, whenever you've got a moment to maybe scroll through some of those that we don't get to, I know that our audience would greatly
Forward all
appreciate
your questions to daveharding@gmail.com. Exactly.
awesome. So actors. Sorry, that must have slipped. But John, we'll bring it back to you here and start showing some of your photos. So all right, Hell's Gate. Let's get into the whole actor that's in this picture here.
So that is the lovely, talented Anthony from Original Sin Design. Seen him at the trade shows or purchased some of his amazing props. Anthony brought this character very organically over the first couple years of the show. You know, we like to encourage creation and creating new characters, but only if they're serving the story, working within the world that we've created. And Anthony, man, did he knock it out of the park with Mother. You're looking at Mother from Hell's Gate. And it has so quickly become one of our icons, one of our most famous characters. People look for Mother all night long. And it is absolutely the creative genius of Anthony.
Wow.
Amazing.
I
Very
think it's
cool.
awesome.
So who's the artist? Is this
So
you?
this is, it's an upstart kid trying to make his way in this industry. Chad Savage. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I thought I'd give him a shot and see if he could make his way. Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell.
Love you, Savage.
I remember when
Yeah,
he was
this
an
is
actor.
Chad Savage, Sinister Visions, also a Zombie Army member. And, one of the things about Hell's Gate is, we say it's more than a haunted house. It's an adventure because we are taking you on a bus out to a vacant lot down Murder Road. And then we're dropping you off so that you can queue up and then be pushed into the dark forest. And you do have to walk through the dark woods, navigate around an actual swamp with cliffs and bluffs all around you. The cemetery is in that swamp. And once you clear the swamp, you have to go up the hill. And that's just to find Hell's Gate. So I wanted Chad to kind of take that and kind of put that into an image that just kind of shows people it's a lot more than a house. There's a lot more going on that you actually, as the customer, have to get through. You know, you're not a passive audience member here.
Now, John, I have a question in regards to, I'm going to ask the panel the same question throughout, but what do you find is your biggest obstacle being a haunt owner, a pro haunt? Is it actors? Is it makeup? Is it build? Is it being unique from the other community, haunt community out there? What would be your answer in regards to that?
I think the thing that's the hardest, right, is for me, it's never having enough time. I mean, it's always my problem. Like the amount of things that I want to do in a single year. I always say I'm trying to squeeze 10 pounds of fun in a 5-pound bag.
Sounds like my dating
crew
life.
just shakes their head. They do not like that saying because they know what they know what I'm doing. I want to do a lot every year when it comes to new build and new stuff. So a lot of it for me is really managing the time to make sure I'm putting everyone in the very best position to succeed that year. And I'm a little too ambitious. It's one of my weaknesses with everything I want to get done in one year, because like if I can think it, then I want it to be real. I want people to see that. So that's usually one of my pickles, is really running the crew to that late summer, early fall. And I mean, hell, just after our first dress rehearsal last year, we had dress rehearsal a week before the show. And I had 4 rooms I wanted to redo the entire floor plan in.
Oh, Jesus.
So imagine, Derek Gibson at the end of the night when I pull him aside and say, I'm feeling a little ambitious. And that's it. We are off to the races. We are going to get that done. Once it's said to the universe, we're going to figure out a way to get it done.
Now, is this the entrance?
Yeah, so this is the first step. This is in the vacant lot. So the first thing I want you to see is an actual forest. Actual darkness. You are not in a strip mall wedged between a taco hut and a mattress firm here. You actually have to walk into the woods, and people don't like walking into the woods at night because it's in our DNA that you don't go into the woods at night because shit will eat you in the woods at night. So there's a natural fear that I'm trying to play on as kind of my first setup for the show, is to really get into their natural DNA phobias.
Wow, that is awesome.
Scott Tater Lind would like to know,
Oh,
does
God.
the zombie mean anything to you?
Oh, God. Of course, Tater just wants to derail this entire process. Stubbs the zombie means a lot to me because I am Stubbs the zombie. As an actor, drink everyone, I auditioned to be the motion capture performer for the video game Stubbs the Zombie. So I did all of the movements and the combat, and I even choreographed my own dancing for the dance off because zombies got to dance. So yes, that video game Stubbs the Zombie was a real good time. Thanks, Tater.
Tell us about that backup one.
Yeah, so backing up, it's still playing with this idea. I'm really trying to work the natural elements and what we as, the human animals are naturally afraid of. So here we have the imp sitting in front of the fallen tree. So you're looking at the root system and a hollowed out tree. And I like to, I like to get you nice and tight like sausage. So I like to get these customers to have to get into small spaces and really, physically have to get through them. And in here, I found a wonderful natural phobia, because the imp is great and very scary. But there's something about just putting a bunch of beehives inside a fallen tree and then speakers with buzzing bees. And man, that's it. People's life experience does the rest of the work for you. So this is the fallen tree out in the woods.
Nice.
I love it.
And here we are. We're at the entrance of the house. So we're just coming up the hill past the actual gates, the wrought iron gates of Hell's Gate. And this is our kind of little, we don't have just a front of house because there's several kind of fronts to this, right? The landing where the tent is, then you come to the front of the actual mansion here. Then the midway is separate. But here is kind of like our little pit for all of my icon actors. Drink. For everyone to, the customers come up. There's like 9 to 12 of these icon actors, and you are cornered in between the edge of the woods, a giant limestone wall, the towering house in front of you, and the iron gates behind you. So I like to start out kind of really closing you down and making everyone kind of get the sense that there's a lot more here. There's a lot more of us than there are of you. And I like to hit them with that sense of awe. With that house, that this is all much bigger than you, much more powerful than you. So trying to hit them with that awe before I bring them in that front door.
It definitely worked, man. It definitely worked. It was, when we went through, it was so amazing. It's like,
thank you.
I couldn't stop looking around. I'm like, oh my God. And my wife's like, let's go. I'm like, wait.
That's the trouble when you have haunters going through the haunt. We slow everything down.
Oh yeah, I've got my own haunter speed when we're doing haunters coming through. Like my actors and managers know what haunter speed is.
Christopher Presley would like to know what is the inspiration, or was the inspiration for the exterior of the house. It has a very Resident Evil vibe.
Oh, okay, cool. Neat. For me, everything starts with the story. Everything is about the story I'm trying to tell. So once I had the story kind of built together, I very much wanted to have that classic mansion, on top of a hill. I wanted to go for that iconic haunted mansion on the hill look. So a lot of the paint treatment was actually done by Teresa Walker, my partner and lead scenic painter. She came up with a lot of that white kind of, just it's aged by time, that it's gone through something. And the tower was key to me because I really needed something large and oppressive, and the house itself is a monster. So I needed to have that front look to it. But it was all designed, just based on where it was positioned, sight line, and I just kind of played with all the lines and the angles. And we actually had to move the entire facade and redo it because while we were excavating the grounds to build our building, we found a limestone wall that was in the way. And my dad was going to blow it up with dynamite, and I had to tell him to put the dynamite back in the truck. Man, limestone walls are good scenic value. I don't want to blow that up.
Speaking of scenic. Oof.
So here we are in the front room. This is the front foyer. And for anyone that doesn't know or hasn't seen Zombie Army production before, part of what is a foundation of our show is having this opening scene where I can hold a large group of people, up to 80 people, so that I can tell them a bit of the story, so I can kind of seed that story into their minds and do a big theatrical opening with a big theatrical scare before I then bring them to the next room and break them up into small groups that I need them to be in real small groups to go through the house. So it's an intimate experience. But this first room is my big theatrical room. We do it at every one of our haunted houses. And that's me.
That's one of my favorites.
That little weirdo is me, the sad weirdo. And this is just another shot from the same room because what we do at Hell's Gate, we like to say it's an adventure. So the majority of the rooms all have practical, secret passages to move on to the next room. I guess somebody likes Scooby-Doo too much growing up because I'm a sucker for secret passages. Makes me feel like a kid. So in this opening room, this is the first passage. The fireplace opens up. It slides out, and the guests go into the fireplace. And throughout the entire mansion experience, you're going from one secret passage to another secret passage. I want you to touch it, feel it, find your way through.
Nice.
Amazing. Joshua would like to know, John, how do you handle the challenge of getting large crowds through the haunt while keeping the experience intimate?
Josh, that's a great question. Math. Haunted houses, there's all this art and beauty and creativity that goes into it. But at the end of the day, to operate a successful haunted house, it's all algebra. It's all running math equations all night long to keep these people split up. So our entire operation has several speeds, right? We got Haunter slow. That's real slow, man. That's like sloths.
Sorry.
And that's even slower than super slow. And that super slow is like what we want to be doing. Super slow is like we're enjoying ourselves, having fun with the audience right now. Then we go to medium, fast, and hold on to your ass. It's one of those final Saturdays in October, and we're going to get through this together one way or another. But it's all about math. I designed rooms throughout the show that help split those groups, even if they clump up, because no matter what, you're going to get like the cat in the bathtub scenario. They won't move forward. So we train all of our managers, all of our actors, and we design our show specifically to keep splitting those people up and keeping them in small groups so everyone has that intimate experience. Now, if you come on a big Saturday, you're going to be in a group of 10. But a lot of the nights, I'm operating groups of 4 to 6 at most.
Wow. Very nice.
Oh, another question. There's lots of them, trust me. Since going from Statesville to Hell's Gate, any thought of adding a third haunt in the future?
We did 3 haunts several times in the last 20 years, right? 3 different locations. I would do it, if I fell in love with the location and I had a story I wanted to tell. Those would be the 2 things. But at this point, we just actually took down Statesville. So we just celebrated Statesville's final year. And now it's all about bringing all of that talent, all of those actors, drink to Hell's Gate and incorporating the story now of the great Statesville prison break to how all the prisoners are now hiding out in the woods at Hell's Gate. So I'm going to focus on that. And I'm going to have fun with all of my friends in one place, and not really think about another show. I want to have a year or 2 where we're all hanging out under one roof. We've kind of been looking forward to this moment for a long time.
Awesome. Thank you, John. All right, we'll come back to here shortly. We're going to pass it over now to, Mike and Bart. Okay, they got it right, yeah. So, guys, we'll show off your haunt here. Terror in the Corn.
There it is.
Well, this isn't the haunt.
Yeah, that's actually not a haunt.
Hey, Google says otherwise.
I know.
Says otherwise.
Well, we're on Anderson Farms, which is about 300 acres. And that right there is their big, huge corn maze, which is about 25 acres. It runs about 8 miles. If you kind of look to the north of it, that's our zombie paintball, which, of course, we shut it down this year. And then over to the left, in the left corner there's where the start of Terror in the Corn is. Wow. So, but I mean, and this right here, a reason why I put this up is we did a big, huge build last year to the point of, kind of like what he said, ambitious. To the point of we were building all the way to almost opening night. It was trying to, and we still aren't finished with it. We still have a lot to do. But what I was going to tell people with this is what we found out last year with the prices of wood, which was absolutely insane. It's insane again. To go to your local lumber mill. I just saved. We just bought just 276. 1 by 8 by 8s from the local mill, and I saved them about $2,500 just on that. And so, but that's the reason why I put this photo up. This is our street, by the way. You'll see another thing later. You can look down the street, but you can't go straight down it. You go in and out of those buildings and go across the street several times, and then you go out into the corn, and then you come back and you're on that street again. It's just one of those visual things that I like. But yeah, the having, of course, we're an old West town, so this lumber works for us too. So, but yeah, local mill, actually you can get wood a lot cheaper.
Yeah, we call it slab wood. It's just basically the slab on the outside that they can't use. So that's awesome.
Yeah, the next step is to not just go to your local mill, but buy a sawmill.
Yeah.
I recommend doing that.
Wood miser. Investment.
Jeff would like to know, has the cost of lumber changed your plans for future ideas?
Nope. And again, we have the same problem with as John does is we have to sit there and go, okay, next year. We have plans for the next 5 years of what we want to do.
He had to teach me like the last couple of years when we were working with Greg Allen, who was the one that actually brought us on initially. He's not working here now. He's kind of stepped away from the business for a bit for family reasons. But I had a bad habit. Every time we would start building on something, I would start going, hey, what if we da da da? And Greg would start going, and then suddenly we've added another month to our build, and he'd be over here going, shut up. So this year it's like, hey, what if we, and we just look at each other and go, okay, so let's write that down.
Yeah, for next year.
Next year. We have everything we're doing for this year. Nothing's getting added because we're doing a lot.
Yeah.
So
this is the same street. If you look at it, it's with the lights on. A lot of the lights we have, of course, it's Old West Town, so you barely have any of the lights that you're looking at to the left. Most of it's lanterns. So I like it. We liked it because the light dances, so it creates a lot of different types of shadows.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it creates depth when you've got the moving lights,
Yes.
or even just filters over them, for sure. Being in an open area, do you change your theme every year?
No. We've got this theme, and we are changing something big this year.
Yeah.
Again, it has an Old West Town, so you got a lot of old. We're pigeonholed in what kind of characters we can have. And so with the storyline that we had, so we actually added to the storyline this year. We're actually bringing another antagonist to the place. It's a witch called Demetra, and she's going to start battling with the Wells twins, who are the actual evil ones of the town. And so she's going to try to start taking over. And so we can actually, as she's taking over, we can bring more variety of characters to the haunt.
I'd like to ask you guys the same question as I asked John in the beginning. What would be, in your opinion, the biggest obstacle
Time.
for you guys at time again? Damn, you should add that to the list.
Time. And of course, the terrible thing about, being, in the positions we are is being able to do what we love during the season, because we like to act. We like to be in costume, and being in the positions we're in, you just can't do it. I mean, hopefully we'll get to that spot where we can jump into costume at some point.
yeah, we're working on growing our team with people that work with us during the season to kind of do more of the management. I mean, we'll still be in there managing, taking care of things, the big issues that may come up, but we're putting a really good team together. We started last year, and this year we're adding to that, so that the smaller things that happen, having somebody actually running our actors in the haunt, so that I'm not doing it. We have people that are going to be running our queue, so that we're not doing that. That's going to give us maybe a little bit more time, or even if it's just for a night or two during the season, I can throw into jump into a costume and be an actor.
Drink.
And then he can do the same and be an actor. And John, you mentioned Chad earlier, Chad Savage. Just to throw Chad's name in there again. Back in 1990, he was an actor.
Yeah.
That worked for me.
Stop it.
But yeah, the challenge for our haunt, which is something that started changing when Greg Allen came aboard, was when the haunt first started 20 some odd years ago. It was a very small farm haunt, family friendly haunt. The gentleman that ran the haunt, it was scary, but not real high tech, or not necessarily super scary. It was meant more for families. And that gentleman passed away, and a few years ago Greg Allen was brought aboard, and he started changing that. And then he brought me aboard, and I started changing the way the actors would work. I started getting a little more theatrical, and then bringing Bart on board. Just the haunt has changed so much just in these last 6 or 7 years, to the point now that it's this mile-long attraction that's getting a lot of national attention, which is nice. But that change is very challenging.
I should have warned everybody. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pandora.
Do you miss doing a haunt indoors? This is from
Yes.
Markoff.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Dark Hours bathrooms.
There's so many different things I have to learn differently now, because again, I can't do it outdoors.
Distressing.
Here in Colorado, distressing is even an issue because of how dry it is. Just getting enough water on the walls to be able to get stuff to drip or do anything like that is just, it's challenging. I have to get up here at 5 a.m. to do that. It's terrible. But yes,
Bob Bowie would like to know.
We always want to have indoor hunting because, again, another thing we got to do is we got to take down the haunt not take down the whole thing, but all the stuff that we have in rooms, we all bring them to a corner and put tarps over them. We have to take all the props, put them away. So yeah, having a haunt indoors, and again, like the issues we have, we could do filming anytime, we could do pictures anytime with a haunt indoors. We can't do that except while we're open, because that's the only time everything's out and about.
Bob would like to know, being in an open area, do you tend to lose any weekends as a result of the weather?
Yes.
You didn't this last year.
Not last year. Last year was absolutely awesome, so I'm really worried about this year. But the year before, being in Colorado, this is the first time for me in the 30 years that I've been doing this that I worked in smoke. So Colorado was on fire, and so
it was bad. Yeah.
There was one night where it got cold, so the smoke dropped, and we were all in the smoke that night.
But even with that, knock on wood, since I've been here in 2018, we've not lost more than 2 to 3 nights every year, except this last year. And in 2020 we still did. It was the couple of nights, and then this year though we lost none. I mean, thank God the weather was perfect. But we also learned that people here in Colorado are pretty hardy. The first year I was here, we had some nights where it snowed. Didn't last long, but it was enough to get a good layer of snow throughout the entire haunt. And I was sitting there going, man, my poor actors. And they're going, this is no big deal. Okay. So yeah, they pushed through it, and the customers pushed through it and had a great time. So we'll lose a little bit, but not much.
Wow.
Tell us about this photo here.
This is the blacksmith. This is a little new area that we did. Actually, you go through this area right here. You'll go into that through those flaps, and that's where the fire that he's, what is it called?
The embers, the stuff that he puts that thing.
That, and again, it was supposed to. We didn't have time, but it was supposed to shoot dissipating fog up at you. But it was just a little area you go through, then you come back actually out around that. But it's just one of those little areas. Of course, it's not done.
He always says that it's done and
Never
not
is.
open, but we want to add.
Wow.
So this was taken in 2020. In 2020, this was I'm a fan of fog.
Yeah.
I like fog. And so Froggies is awesome. Thank you, Tater. So I like to fog things out and do this. And of course, this is where, again, we had trailers, enclosed trailers that had a really cool show in them. They would pick them up at the queue line and, of course, take them in an enclosed trailer all the way out into the cornfield and actually drop them off into the middle of the cornfield. And in 2020, we had this sitting out in the middle of the cornfield. And this is how you first started the haunt. So you would walk up to the morgue and go through the morgue because that's a big part of the story. And but last year we changed it up. We just dropped you out in the middle of the corn. That's actually the actual morgue is now near the end of the haunt. And then we dropped you off in the middle, actually in the middle of the corn. We didn't drop you off on the road. We actually drop you off in the middle of the corn. And we had to change that again this year. So we actually had to get rid of the enclosed trailers because of the amount of people we had come through this year, which was absolutely insane for us because we jumped 150% in our numbers. We went from 20,000 to 60,000. Or actually 50,000, but actually with both attractions, we went to 68,000. So the trailers aren't going to work anymore with that number. It became a safety issue with how fast the trailers were having to run to keep up with that many people. And so it's just going to be a straight walk through this year. That means we had 3 queue lines in 2020. We had 2 queue lines last year, and now we just have 1. So
Shane would like to know, how big and how many machines did you use to get that effect?
Oh, that was just one. Yeah, it's a Titan. Yeah.
The Titan. There you go, Shane.
Greg
Titan.
regretted buying me a couple
Sponsor
Titans.
shout out.
So-
Sponsor shout out. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing all that. Holy
Uh-huh.
crap.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move over now to Paul and Dave.
Hi,
Oh,
guys.
hey guys.
Hey,
Hey, that's our
Hey.
front circle.
that's the front circle right there.
That's what we all you all call a midway. That's our midway. I'm not sure how you all do it, but that's how we do it.
Wow. Holy crap.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What's in your midway? Obviously concessions, all your ticket stuff, but like, is there different attractions throughout this, or just
yeah.
one main attraction?
Yeah. Well, so let's step it back. Markoff's Haunted Forest started out as a haunted bus.
Yeah, it started
Driving
as a
around.
bus.
And then they set up shop here in the woods, and it went from one trail through the woods to two trails through the woods to adding the hayride, which became the town. You see one of the bonfires. There's 3 of them burning in there. We have games going on. There's multiple zip lines going through the field. There's a death jump, so like a free fall. You climb up, leap off of a platform, and fall to your death. So it is it's quite an awesome time while you wait to go through our attraction. I think one of the nice things years ago we did away with queue lines.
Yeah, we don't have a queue line anymore.
Yeah.
Your number is called, and unfortunately with COVID we had to do times, and we're still on the time ticketing because that's some magic stuff right there. You get your time called, you go, but you have this entire area and I don't even know how big is this area, you think? It's probably what, like 10,000 square feet or more?
Probably.
It's giant. It's huge. And each one of these buildings, we kind of went after the Gothic vampire theme, just to kind of make it creepy. And we update it every year, put a couple little different things going on. It's definitely a party atmosphere. We have the DJ in the center doing his thing right there. That's the center booth. So the DJ will announce your time, your number. We'll do giveaways. We'll do different things. We'll have dance competitions, just whatever it is. You've got little secluded spots you can do, roasting marshmallows over a small campfire, or you can warm yourself by the 30-foot circumference ceremonial burn, because we can't have a bonfire in the state of Maryland and the state of Montgomery, the Republic of Montgomery. We have to have a permit for those fires. So they are a ceremonial burn permit. Since we are a nonprofit, we're allowed to have that. But yeah, in the front, you can get tickets to do the zip line. We have a death jump. We have just all kinds of aerial elements to just take it to a different level. And plus, all the cuisine that we serve in all the concession stands is all farm fresh. Whatever we grow on the farm, the burgers are from the cows we slaughtered, previous. Same thing with the chickens, except for the mozzarella sticks. I don't think we killed any mozzarella.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but those things are damn good.
They're
That's like
really
my
good.
favorite. So yeah,
you can see folks go up our zip line. So again, being at an outdoor school and summer camp programs and things like that, it's why we have all these ropes course or challenge course elements built into our haunt as well. Just this week, I just got done doing a 4-day climbing, backpacking, and whitewater rafting trip with a school group. And so that's what we do on the daily basis while we're not doing.
Well, that's what he does. I make scary shit. Dave does the high angle, fun stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But so you can see somebody go up. We've actually added one that is 2 to 3 times taller than this. So we have the Stairway to Heaven that you go up and leap off, and it's 2 different zip lines that you go down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's scary.
It is
to do
terrifying.
a zip line. I mean, everybody's been on vacation. Everybody's done a thing where they go during the daytime. You do it at night, it's like, oh Jesus, where am I going? And for the longest time, we had a zip line that ran through the woods. And it was
6 different zip lines.
Yeah, 6 different zip lines that connected. And you could actually fly over top and see the people getting scared, which was awesome. Then, sadly enough, we lost a tree or 2 that supported the zip line, and we couldn't do that any longer. But
Yeah.
So just to respond to that comment, they
Thank
are
you.
profitable. So it's things that we're doing in addition to the haunt. So it's other ways that we can make a little bit of extra money by having folks come out. We're really an experience. We're not something that you just come to like, I'm just going to go through a haunted house for the night. You're coming for 3 hours at least.
yeah, it's a whole night. You want to plan your night. We have so many food options, so many fun things to do, so many live entertainment. We got free face painting and all kinds of other things on. So if you buy a ticket, you're going to be there for 3 or 4 hours, and you're not going to stand in a line like Disney and just circle back and forth. You're going to be able to mull about, meet new people, have a cocktail. We have the Upside Down Bar, which is kind of like this secret little spot you duck off to, and you can get a local craft brew from all the local breweries or a wine. It's really a total experience.
Yeah.
It's friggin' awesome, actually.
Can we comment on this, Paul? Because this is like your piece de resistance.
This actually was a couple years ago, and it's just the badass photo of the century. What we did it every year, we change our theme in our front. So we try to mix it up every year and go like, one year was prison theme, then we had a clown theme, then we had this was the clown theme. We call this the 5-finger death punch flame effect. And
Yes.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm a licensed pyrotechnician by trade for a side company, and I shoot fireworks professionally. Dave also is involved in that. So we have done, giant firework displays all throughout the metropolitan DC area. But the one cool thing we get to do out at Markoff, since we have so much space, and if we have a permit and if nobody's looking, so we'll do fun things like this. And the zip line's almost directly behind that. Well, I swear to God, we didn't freaking shish kebab or barbecue anybody. But yeah, that was the 5-finger death punch going off behind the clown. And we would do that every half hour to announce, the next number that would go through the woods.
How tall were those flames?
Those are 30 foot, they're 15 meters. So, I mean, shit, they're 35, 40 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a nitrogen. Anyway, I could nerd you all out. We'll save that for another day.
It's
awesome.
One more. 6 zip lines. How much does your insurance cost? Never mind. Don't really want to know.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
But
that's
again,
why our ticket prices are what they are. Okay, just.
But then again, this is what we do professionally year round. Is that we run these challenge courses, and climbing and whitewater kayaking and mountain bike, all these different
anything
programs.
Outdoors you want to do, you can come to Kaleva and do it. And it's one of the top rated camps in the DC area. So if you want to get your kids outside, that's a place to send them.
Yeah.
But go on, continue on. Haunted house stuff. We don't want to talk about kids. We want to talk about haunted house stuff.
Yeah, so I want to talk about this because it's really cool.
Yeah, this one.
So our entrance always has been, if you notice, there's a skull theme going on. It used to be that when they first came out to the farm that we're located at now, at the Kaleva farm, you would take a wagon ride out and get dropped off at a paper mache skull.
Legit. We had to do that shit every single year. Nick and myself and everybody would just paper mache this giant skull. It was so ridiculous.
Well, a couple years ago, it finally failed us. And we needed to redo it. And we decided that for the entrance, we're still sticking with the skull theme.
Yep.
This just happens to be a 30-foot tall skeleton that we sculpted by hand, Paul and Chris Knowles. That jaw articulates, so it moves, it opens and closes its mouth, it sprays fog. It's got awesome sound effects. And you walk underneath his arm as you enter the woods. Yeah, it's really cool.
And the sad thing is, we went to all this trouble, and everybody's looking at their feet. Nobody even looks up to see this giant roaring masterpiece that we all came up with. I'm like, God damn, no matter how we light it up, nobody pays attention. Like, seriously, come on.
It's hard when you're going into a dark, spooky forest.
It is.
Like, they're freaking out. So
yeah, so tactical error on our part. Maybe we'll pick it up. No, it's sunk in the ground. It's like this giant steel welded. I'm up there in the pouring rain trying to weld this thing like 2 days before we're opening. It was just brutal. But yeah, definitely a fun time. Oh, all right. Here we go.
This is your church. Yeah, the Church of St. Paul.
This would be the Church of St. Paul. And I think I picked this photo because of the fog. And we are probably one of the only haunts that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, all your other haunts. We run a Look Solutions cryofogger, which runs off of CO2 dewar tanks. And that's how we super chill the fog. And we duct it through 6 to 8 inch ductwork. It's PVC buried under the ground. And we channel it all through our graveyard. And on a still night, that fog will be maybe a little less than knee deep and rolling about 200 feet down the hill. And so as you look up the hill through all the tombstones, you see this massive church with these gargoyles, which, by the way, were from a Black Sabbath tour.
Yeah, that's Ozzy Osbourne right there.
Yeah,
that's
sweat all over
our
those.
work.
So those are famous. I wish I could take credit for those, but no, those came from a Black Sabbath tour 2007 or 8, something like that. And we got them on eBay of all the weirdest places to get things. So yeah, there they are.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, highlighting the fog, that is our piece de resistance in this scene right there. It's just how the fog just flows down the hill. And okay, Tater, we use bog fog.
We do.
All right. We do, but we do special things with it. We duct it a special way. We've got our trade secrets, but it's freaking fantastic. And actually, that picture is on the Look Solutions advertisement when they go do trade shows. They're featuring Markoff's church and how the fog rolled through the woods. So there's a daylight shot. I'm pretty sure there's a nighttime shot coming up too. Yeah, there it is. There it is. A little lighter fog. And that whole church, I mean, we were lucky enough when we got those gargoyles, we actually we picked up a CNC machine as well. And the boss called and said, hey, dude, they got the CNC machine. What is that? I'm like, fucking buy it. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So we picked that thing up, and it's just been a game changer. We can do any tombstone we want.
All the paneling for the church is all CNC'd.
Absolutely. Hard coated by Dave and I, hand finished with a torch. All the moldings are custom cut, but that's a good 2-story giant building.
Oh, Sean, don't ask that.
Yeah, dude, bro, it's with duct tape and a prayer. It's surprisingly enough. I mean, we built things pretty bulletproof because we know the clientele, and when you're in a dark attraction, you know people are just going wild, and you have a couple drinks before you go through. Of course you would. Why wouldn't you? And so people are a little rowdy, so we over-engineer things.
Yeah, that is the hardest part, though. It was mentioned earlier. Being an outdoor attraction, we are at the mercy of the elements, and so. And being in the woods too, trees fall and crush scenes.
Yeah.
The town was struck by a tornado in the spring of 2020. And so flattened buildings, flattened our whole horseback riding arena and the Reedsford camp.
Yeah.
And so we just have to roll with those punches and just rebuild.
Yep. So that's the inside of the church. That's our favorite prop from Poison Props.
Hold up 1 second, Paul. 1 second. Yeah. I apologize for cutting you off here, but apparently somebody needs a drink because they want to talk about actors.
Okay.
Hey, Christopher. Let's talk more about actors. Yeah, we have a lot of them, and we pay them very well. Let me tell you.
All right, please continue.
Yeah, so that is the inside of the church right there. There's a custom stained glass windows behind it, and it's hard to see. Either way, Poison Props. That is, and hold on, scoot over that. Yeah, custom stained glass windows. The Poison Props thing that we have there, he's been going for what, like 5 years now? We put him in, and we've got a Froggy's upshot fogger, but it's not the upshot. It's the CO2 one. Oh man, I'm losing my mind right now. Anyway, great effect. All the guys in the pews stand up.
Okay, but they're not actors.
They're not. They're animatronics.
I know. Can we actually talk about actors? So that's a lot of drinks.
All right, fine.
So for actors, we bring about 250 people out during the month of October for staff.
Good point. We do. We have a lot of actors.
So we have a lot of actors.
I was too busy talking about me.
All in all, we had about over a mile's worth of trails this year. So haunted attraction to walk through. And so you can imagine that takes a lot of actors.
Yeah, we had a lot of staff. We have a lot of recurring staff. And the cool thing about our staff is that a lot of them actually went to camp at Kaleva, and then they got into the Haunted Forest fold, and now they're here. My staffing director, LP, Little Paul, I'm Big Paul, although you wouldn't know that on camera. But he started at Kaleva at 11 or 12 years old and got into the haunt, and now he's the most amazing staff director, and he just charges everybody up and gets everything going. Like we could not function without him. He's fantastic.
Well, you might not be able to. I can't function.
You have your own guy.
He's my staffing director, and I recommend going and checking out some YouTube videos of Markoff's Haunted Forest because there's some good back and forth comparing their pump up speeches.
Oh, stop.
So I'm just saying it's a funny clip to watch.
We are whoring ourselves out now. Check out YouTube. Markoff's Haunted Forest.
Yeah. I love how we have Luigi here. He's just like, hey.
That's not an actor.
No, I know.
We do have a user that would like to know how you get power to places out in the middle of the woods if that's a challenge.
Can I answer too, or do you want to answer?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we can collectively answer. You want to go first?
Yeah. So one of the things that we made the transition to quite a while ago was going with LEDs everywhere in the entire haunt. So we run 12-volt trunk lines to all the different scenes, and we can branch off of it. And so it's all low voltage LEDs. It's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hand-built LEDs. Yeah. Even though I love Ned's LEDs, we end up doing them ourselves because we can just buy bulk.
Sponsor shout out.
I'm just saying.
Dark light.
But yeah, so the flicker flame bulbs changed our world because they're things all you have to do is hook it up to power, and it has its own individual flicker.
Oh yeah.
So you don't get the whole scene flashing at the same time. And
if you guys want insight on what we use and things like that, we can go offline and talk about all those things. Absolutely. As far as power in the woods goes,
but power, the doing a 12-volt was huge because it cut down our electrical bill and it made it so much easier to get power spread out throughout the entire attraction.
It did. And I mean, we have a 200 amp dedicated. That was my project years ago as I got it permitted. We dug it in. We have a 200 amp dedicated service just to the woods, another 200 amps to the front circle, then another 200 to the headquarters building, but all in conduit, all underground, all inspected. It was a freaking nightmare, but it's done. It's permitted. It's a huge infrastructure and it's a giant investment. Once you do it, it's done and it's super worth it. And what we're finding out is we put all this money and time into it. Yeah, we're doing LEDs. We don't run foggers at every single scene anymore. We have one fog machine that does the entire woods, except for this picture right now. And I'm going to school you with some knowledge.
First gonna say Raina Pete.
Yeah.
If folks know Raina.
That's my girl.
Yeah. We can't live without Raina. This is all her right here.
Her and Danny Davidson creating this amazing witch scene for us.
Yeah, with backup from the supporting husband and wife team like Adam, and we got Jen.
Yep.
So there were 4 folks involved in this thing, and it is just at night. We actually can't even get a good picture of this at night because it's so hard to picture, but the willow branches were all harvested from the farm. Everything you see in there is all harvested from the farm. We didn't buy a single piece of lumber from Home Depot. It was all done on our mill. It was all naturally acquired just from walking through the woods and grabbing sticks. And that sucks.
Yes, it does.
Gathering sticks sucks. But so the cool thing about this and the fog, and everybody's all about froggies and your plug-in fog machines. We operate a different style of fog system in this because it's a witch scene. And it's spooky and it's creepy and it's cold and damp. So we're running an Aeromister system, which is a high pressure fog system. They run them a lot out in Vegas to cool the atmosphere around swimming pools or at the miniature golf courses. And I discovered this about a decade ago and talked to the reps about it. They size us up with the correct nozzles, inspect us out on everything. We've got 3 of these units running, and it really makes all the difference in the world. Fog smells like fog. Tastes like fog, it's dry like fog, and it blows away. When you use a water mist system, it sits low to the ground and it blows across your face and your feet, and you're like, oh God. And it really adds to the atmosphere. It makes you feel like you're really there.
Yeah.
So
one of my favorite spots where we utilize that is you actually walk out across a Viking ship that's floating on the water.
I could not get a good picture. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But.
Yeah, but a full-size Viking ship sitting out there on the water. You walk across and you just have this mist in the air and glowing green and blue, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
So our props.
Yeah. What percentage? I mean, 50-50?
50-50, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure.
We do a lot of in-house, but it's so much easier for us to go to Transworld and pick up a couple big props every single year. Just because, again, time is a big issue. Paul gets to do it all the time. I get to do this for a couple months out of the year.
What are you talking about, man?
You're the one that said, like, you don't have to do the summer camp stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't deal with children, but I'm dealing with the support for the children anyway. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, but I'm saying time is very valuable. And so if we can have somebody else build the props for us, that's great. But there are certain things that we have to do ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. To quote the great Alan Hobbs, like, if you're going to do 5 or more, it's worth making a mold and doing it yourself. I'm like, no, we just need 1. So it's way easier. We have a full latex, fiberglass, silicone casting shop, and we make kayaks and boats that are 40 feet long. We do a ton of stuff, but time is money. And sometimes it's easier to support our local vendors. Like we just ordered a crap ton of things from Lainey and Beth, Drop Dead. Yeah.
Another sponsor. There we go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to the sponsor, Drop Dead. Yeah. Their stuff is fantastic. And it's worth it to us to just go ahead and buy it from them when we need a dozen of X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to spend the time to do it. And, they're great people. They make a great product and it's reasonably priced. Like we couldn't make it for anything less. So
how many gallons of fog do you guys go through a season?
About 110 at least.
At least 110.
Yeah, we normally order. We don't get it in the gallon jugs. We get it in the 55-gallon drums, and we have them stationed where our fog machines are. And
a direct drip, like an IV to a dying person. Like here it is to the fog machine. So, and we used to go pallets and pallets of fog machines from all the crap. We've been through all the Chauvets, everybody. And finally, we said, screw this. We're going to do it Hollywood style. We went Look Solutions, which makes an incredible fogger. Yes, it's more expensive, but if you're going to go pro, totally worth it. And we'll have one machine, and we pump the fog into a giant box. and then we suck it out with a huge inline fan, and then we branch it out through 30 acres worth of woods, what we call the tube of death. And people that are familiar with movies, it's a black inflatable tube and you poke the holes in it, but that provides the atmospheric fog through the entire woods. That's one fog machine for 30 acres. That's all we run. And then the church gets its own. So total of 2 fog machines.
And the junkyard.
The junkyard gets its own thing.
There's certain spots that need a little extra boost. And so we add a single fog machine there. But for the most part, we've cut down on the number of machines, and it saves us, again, a lot of time because you're not running around all night trying to fill foggers.
Yep. And it's energy efficient. Our carbon footprint is being minimized, Dave. So all right, so that picture, again, to give Rainia, Danny, Jen, and everybody and Adam credit, that is the front side of the witch scene. All organic, all sticks, all things. The greatest part about Markoff's is that everything that we do is so organic and so from the land, and it just, you feel like you're in the woods. Everything you walk through, with the exception of the UFO and the junkyard, or maybe the clown scene. I don't know.
Circus.
Circus.
Is your property fenced? If not, how do you keep people from sneaking in?
It's 220 acres. It's really hard to get there.
And it's out in the middle of nowhere. We don't have big limestone walls like John does. But we do back up to a national park and to areas that are really not accessible to anybody. And so where the haunt is, it's really tricky to get into the haunt without going through the entrance.
And if you get lost, you're fucked. And we've had people go just taken off, and then a day later they come wandering back. They're like, oh,
their car is still parked out in our fields, and we're wondering what happened to them, and they show up.
Yeah, that is legitimately happening.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, thank you guys. We'll come back to you here shortly.
Absolutely.
But we're at the halfway point right now, guys, and for our
do we
guests
drink at the halfway?
Yeah, again, I was just going to say, I should have warned everybody who is a viewer or even our panel to bring pictures because, man, we're going through things so crazy right now. But this is our pro show.
Last week.
Yeah, this is our pro show. So, guys, get your questions in. We're trying, these guys, our whole panel here has so much knowledge that we're trying to get to these questions. There's so many of them. And we appreciate you guys asking all these questions. We're going to do our best. We're definitely going late tonight, so we're just so much that we could try to fit in the next 45 minutes to an hour. So, and for those of you that are commenting, please use the StreamYard link that we will share shortly, so we could see your name when you ask a question. This gives StreamYard the right to show your name from Facebook, so that helps us out. And without further ado, we'll get back to John here. So, John, what do we got here? Another actor?
Drink, everybody, drink. It's another actor.
Oh, it's gonna be a rough night.
And
tomorrow at work.
We like to do a lot of flying at our zombie army shows, whether it's Hell's Gate or Statesville. So this is one of our flying actresses. That soars down the hallway, and I really wanted that kind of exorcist look, that she was crawling across the walls, almost like Superman style. So she comes right over your head, and we got to, we do not have a complicated fly system. It's an I-beam with a, half-ton trolley on it, and the noise it makes alone is an amazing scare. And then you have the talented actor really sealing the deal for the scare.
Amazing. And for all of you that weren't at Transworld, John worked with both Ben Armstrong and Alan Hops to do it was it 61 or 60 in 60, yeah. John? Yeah.
61 wow scare moments in 60 minutes.
Excellent class to go to. Talks all about the idea of lifting the chin of your patrons and all of the fantastic ideas about how to draw people away so that you get the other scares from the other side. Absolutely fantastic. So the bungees are amazing. Yeah,
a lot of fun. Thanks. So here we are in the twins room, and we used to do, Statesville, haunted prison. The bad guy's always this giant dude, big, scary, impressive dude. And at Hell's Gate, we went a different direction. We decided that our featured bad guy, our featured monster, were two 12-year-old twins. So these are the twins after the darkness had put two demons into their bodies. And this is their room. So one of the secret passages brings you through the dollhouse into the twins' room. More twins' room. I just love this photo. It's one of my favorite photos because of the different reflections in the mirror. We had a lot of fun with just creating this kind of stillness scare instead of that aggressive come at you scare. So we kind of play with, my brother Kyle Laflamboy said it best, at Statesville, we give you these shock moments that make it jump. At Hell's Gate, we give you these deep fear moments that make the hairs on the back of your neck jump up. And that's kind of the style we're going for. And this photo just really screams that.
I love the pink.
Great
The
scene.
walls, yeah.
Yeah. Doll room. And somebody did mention the Grim Life Collective video earlier in the stream and said that they loved it and wanted to ask a bit about the backstory again.
Sure. While we're here in the twins' room, the backstory for the entire house is that Captain Moorstone was hired to come to Illinois by the governor to build a cemetery, a graveyard for the unwanted, for the prisoners, for the mentally handicapped, for the orphans. And he was going to create this wonderful prison for the unwanted. This wonderful cemetery for the unwanted. Unfortunately, on the path, on the road from the East Coast to Illinois, his two twin daughters passed away. And he brought them to this new land, this new place, and he built the house as if they never died, as if they were still living. So he built their bedroom and decorated it as if they were still with them, and built this huge mausoleum in the cemetery for the unwanted. But the Captain Moorstone, and this is back in the 20s, was very buried, overcome in his grief and mourning, and he needed to know, were his daughters at peace at their new resting place? Was this new home suitable for their final resting place? So, like people do, he brought in seers and fortune tellers. It was all the rage of the time in the 20s, to see if they can contact the spirits of his daughters to see if they were at peace. And unfortunately, the captain learned, as so many of us know, that if you reach into the darkness, sometimes it will reach back. And the darkness had come through an open gate and started inhabiting people at Hell's Gate. And two demons joyfully jumped into the two corpses of the twin daughters. And now the twins rain havoc through the house as they spread the darkness throughout and infect the poor house staff that's still just trying to do their jobs and get along.
Nice.
Next story. Clowns, closets, what's not to be terrified of? I love transitions in closets. I love the idea of a clown waiting with a ball peen hammer for you in a closet. I mean, to me, this just, that one got me to jump up. I wanted to make that, I wanted to build that. So this is our closet scene. The clown waits for you in the closet of the twins' room, and it's another secret passage transition to the next room. We're in the lab here. So part of the backstory is that the captain did not want his experimentations with the other side to hurt anyone in the home. So the captain went down to the basement under the house and built this lab to try to bring the dead back to life so that his daughters can come back into these live bodies. Of course, this just caused a giant mess. I mean, bringing people back from the dead never works for anyone. Read a book. So unfortunately, we have zombies just everywhere. You cannot get them to have a soul or a mind. So this is our basement, my kind of homage to Dr. Frankenstein with electricity and, having the good intent of trying to do something out of love, but it just all goes horribly wrong.
Wow, that is incredible.
Speaking of going wrong, the deeper the captain got, trying to hide all of this dark magic from what was happening above in the house, he went into the caves and really played with some real dark magic and opened up what is Hell's Gate. So we are looking at a picture of Hell's Gate. It is a portal. And through that gate came the Dragon Queen, these monks and these dragons, and the dragons are now standing guard on Hell's Gate to make sure no one can close it. Because shortly after it was opened, the captain did everything he could to close it. But now the dragons stand like guard dogs with the Dragon Queen to make sure the darkness can keep creeping out and keep making its advancements forward.
Yeah, that was amazing when I seen that. I'm like, holy shit. That's amazing.
Yeah, I went a little crazy. I slept in that room for like 2 months designing it.
I did not expect
let it
that
go.
when I walked through there. I was like, what?
Yeah, I went a little too far, I think. I went a little too far. Yeah.
God, Victor asks,
it was awesome.
which is the most important when completing a room? Lighting, scent, or sound?
You know, for me, it's neither. It's the actor. Great. Especially you, Victor. You made me do that. But to me, everything I do is about empowering the actor. Everything is about making that human being have more ability to succeed. So lighting, sound, I would say if I had to pick one of the two, I think sound is more important because you could turn all the lights off and we could have some fun in the dark. But that sound is really going to inform them what's happening around them. This is just a pretty picture of the twins in the basement. Not much here, except I really just enjoyed the lines and the shapes. And I was really in love with this setup when we were doing photos.
Now, do they move throughohout the haunt, John? Or
so,
are they...
Yes. So I have a fleet of twins for the night.
Nice.
And this was kind of also like one of my cheats, you know, that I've been in this business long enough to know that the majority of the people that audition for haunted houses are usually young women in high school or college, and they're usually shorter than 5'6". We used to have a standing rule: if you were a tall dude, you were hired because it was far and few between. So now, yeah, we've created the twins to keep that pattern. They're the ones that greet you in the front room, and then you'll see them throughout the house. You don't ever engage with them again. You just see them looking down at you throughout the house to keep that theme, keep that story moving. This is a photo of our midway. I added this last year. You know, Hell's Gate was only open for 4 seasons up until this moment. So creating the midway was like my final act. It was the 5th act of the show. I really wanted to carry that show through the gift shop experience and make sure the midway still had all the elegance and the scare and the color and the celebration of all things Halloween and dark in that midway. I wanted to, like all of us here, create a party so that my guests are hanging out. You know, they're getting a drink, they're watching the big screen, playing games, ordering food. But most importantly to me, they're sharing their experience with each other. You know, I think there's a very cathartic thing that happens after going to see a show where you need to talk about it with someone. So I don't want you to have to wait to get to the car. I want you to have a bonfire. I want you to have a beer. And I want you to talk about your experience. And more importantly, I want you to share it on social media, kids. Thank you.
Absolutely. There's nothing better than the debrief after going through a haunt, in my personal opinion. Yeah. Yep.
This is our cast photo from this year. We usually roll with about 130 actors per night. And then about another 45 extra like management or staff throughout the process. But we carry a large management staff. But just inside the house and on the trails, just for the haunted house show, we have around 20 managers moving through and making sure those people stay broken up and all the actors stay good. And we're firm believers there needs to be an actor in every single spot. Whether you showed up on a Thursday or a peak Saturday, you are seeing the very best show possible. So it takes a lot of management to keep all that moving.
Do you guys ever hear the game Where's Waldo? We're going to play Where's the Twins.
Sean would like to know real quick, John, where does your inspiration come from for the backstories? Is this from real life events? So
yeah, I probably spent too much time alone as a child. Get into it, Sean. Thanks for scraping that scab. No, yeah. I'm a storyteller, like I'm a theater maker, I'm a filmmaker, and I'm a haunted house maker. And the common thread is I love telling stories. So Hell's Gate it's one of my stories. It lived in my head for a very long time. And hell, half the reason I do this is just to get this stuff out of my head and put it somewhere in the world so I could do new things in there. So most of the backstory, storyline, stuff like that is all thoughts I have at night, Sean. Thoughts I have at night. So this is something I did special in 2019. Is I started a new series of videos, and if anyone knows me, I love sharing the story of Hell's Gate in people's homes as much as possible on any show I do. So I do a lot of video production, a lot. And in 2019, I got a little weird, and I decided to make a silent film in black and white to promote a haunted house. I know. All the money I was going to make off of that idea. But as an artist, as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, I wanted to tell the origin story of the haunted house, not necessarily the story that you're in when you visit the haunted house. So I wanted to create that backstory. And so I created a new series of black and white silent films that tell the origin story of the haunt, the show. This is the captain and his daughters right before his attempt to resurrect them, and it all going horribly wrong. I am playing the sad man in the hat, which I do a very good job at never showing my face in any of the videos as much as I can. This is from that same series. This is where in the seance, it all goes horribly wrong and darkness comes through and starts to spread its infection. So from the same seance video, if you want to look that up on YouTube or our Hell's Gate page, it is the Hell's Gate Seance. And there's, a little moment from the same seance video. This is in our study, which is the second room inside the show. So this is the seance going terribly wrong. And unfortunately, instead of the twin daughters, we have two demons now. And I had a lot of fun with this, creating this 1920s kind of aesthetic. And for you guys earlier, I was talking about that new kid in the industry, that upstart Chad Savage. I even convinced him to come be in it. He's in there. I told him I needed an Otho from Beetlejuice, and Chad came to my seance as my Otho. And Anthony Glenn and Johanna, some of my managers, Rachel, had a lot of fun with this video. Really did.
Hessian Manor would like to know, how do your patrons learn the backstory? Do you have a sit-down story time before they enter the haunt?
No. What I do is I like to make sure that I have kind of endowed my website and my social media with these videos. These videos are the way I'm informing my audience what the backstory is by creating these mini movies, these short films. And then throughout the house, once you're on property, it's my acting team. Hey, acting team, drink, everyone. So it's all about the actors now, and they are trained to be giving you seeds as you walk through the show to push the story a little bit further, to inform you a little bit more of what's going on. So there's the kind of pre-show, which I always recommend my audience to go to the website. I spend a ton of money and time trying to tell you that story before you come. And if you don't, though, that's cool too, man. I'll take you fresh out of the bar, and we will then kind of work that story throughout the trail. And then when you get to the opening room, that's my big theatrical scene. And we give a little bit more of the story there. We have about, 2 minutes of a scene there where we really drop a big part of the story of what the captain did and how it all went wrong. So we work real hard to keep telling that story.
I love it. What's the cutoff age for your actors?
I don't have one.
I love that. Wonderful.
You want to come play? You want to come do this? And you got the availability? Let's do it.
All right, John, thank you so much, man, for coming on and sharing all this info for us, for our viewers. Man, class act haunt. I mean, literally, this guy is an amazing guy. If you have any questions, I'm sure, he'll be happy to answer them for you. John, thank you for all you do for the community
Thank
too.
you.
Man, you're very, very awesome. So thank you.
Thank you
It was
so much.
amazing.
It's
I went through it.
absolute
It was
pleasure to be here
amazing.
and share today.
It was awesome. You know, it's like
Yes.
amazing. Like,
And there are a zillion questions, so please, if you get the opportunity, John, take a look back through them. We didn't even touch the surface of this.
Tomorrow I'll be on set all day. I'll have lots of wait time. I'll go to my phone and to answer as many
Perfect.
questions as I can. And Pandora, I did want to say that's a really great shirt you're wearing tonight.
Well,
Really
thank
great
you very
shirt.
much. I'm glad you appreciate that.
Awesome. And like we said, the links for all the haunts are in the description up top. So please, go check out all their work, guys. All right. We're going to bring it over to Mike and Bart.
Woo-woo!
Bart.
So let's talk about Hell's Gate.
Yeah.
We did get a bucket list. We got to see it at Trez World, so that was a bucket list for me, which was
Sweet.
completely awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in real quick and say one of the things that we were a little disappointed in ourselves with for this show was the fact that one of the focuses we weren't allowed to have since I started and since Bart started was getting a lot of really great photos. I mean, we can get some stuff and use a little bit of it for promo, but we don't have as many really great photos of the stuff that we've done to share, though that's something that's going to be fixed this year.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be spending a lot more time with that since, again, most of it has to be done when we're open.
The problem is that I'm doing the photograph, I'm doing the video, I'm doing the editing, I can't do it all. So we gotta find somebody.
Yeah.
that can,
Yeah, and we do actually
can
have
help
people
out.
that are going to come in and do a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of video work for us this year and photo work and stuff. So in the coming years, we'll have lots of really great photos for you. But for now, we just have in progress stuff.
hey, Mike and Bart, we've seen your work, dude.
We know.
Shit's
We know. We
amazing,
have
so-
you. Yeah, we have
Well, this
you.
was the
That's
this
good
was the
thing.
first year that I actually got to work on the haunt. The year before that I came here, we redesigned the whole zombie paintball thing, so I never got to touch the haunt the year before. So this year we ended up looking at it. We actually changed up, I think, about almost 50% of the haunt this last year. So
Wow.
too much. We didn't get it. We didn't finish. So
And a lot this year.
yeah. So this is we changed up the scarecrows this year. It's a really simple thing to do. These guys, we went ahead and made 40 of these guys, 20 to be out in the corn, and then 20, which is down what we call a scarecrow alley. So you actually had just 10 on each side, just walking down through the corn when you first got dropped off into the corn last year. Really simple to do. The head is from Distortions. They do light up. And then we just, again, basically you're looking at a 2x4 along with a split 2x4 for arms and a couple of shoulders so we could pop everything on with plywood. And then it's just jute and
then a tree branch for hands.
Yeah, jute and burlap. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing.
That's excellent. Katrina would like to know, what advice would you give a buddy home haunter to guide them to pro haunt?
Find somebody to work for.
That is the best answer, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, I would say I've been there. I've owned my own haunt. It's you don't get to do fun stuff anymore. You have to do all of the office work. You have to do the business part of it. And if you're not a business person, find somebody else and do like what we're doing. We don't have to do the business stuff anymore. We just get to focus on the haunt and
Do the fun stuff.
Yeah, we don't handle the insurance. We don't handle any of the bills. We don't handle anything other than, okay, what do you guys want to build this year?
Which I could tell you is stressful.
Yeah.
You sit there and look for people to come. Okay, is people going to come because we got to pay bills? It's just.
And for this place, it's crazy because where we are at Anderson Farms, I mean, we're like one of the biggest agritainment places in Colorado. And, like just last year alone between the haunt and the farm and the new sunflower festival we did like 209,000 people in 6 weeks.
What the fuck?
So it's a huge operation, and we're a big part of it, and so it's an interesting animal. But I'm so happy to not be involved in any of the real business part of it, other than hiring, training, designing, building, and all the really fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
I'm not sure who asked it, but who's the visionary? Who's the builder? Or is it equal?
No, he's definitely the builder. Like if you told me, Michael, go build a set of stairs, I'd go, let me look this up on YouTube. I can build stuff if I'm helping someone. Like he'll tell me I need these boards cut to this, and then I'll help him build it because I'm watching what he's doing and I follow him. As far as ideas go,
It's all three of us.
Yeah.
We got Dylan, which is our technical director, but it's all three of us. And again, we're throwing out ideas even while we're working. And of course, that kind of like he was telling us last year, that kind of kept the building more and more and more and more.
and
so
I had to learn to not.
So this
suggest
year
something.
we decided, okay, we're going to plan what we're going to do this year in December, and we're sticking to it. We're not going to add anything else.
Because we had this idea.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So I would say all three of us, we all collaborate together and come in here just like in our winter months because it's snowing and we can't do much. But the winter months we all collaborate. We all figure out what we're going to do, and we start just drawing it up and going from there.
And what's really nice is the owners have like complete trust in us. It's pretty much, hey, what are you guys going to do? This is what we're going to do. Okay. You guys going to go Transworld? Okay. What's our budget? Get whatever you need. Which we don't go crazy.
We don't. Yeah. We're the ones that are going, oh man, it's a little expensive. Maybe we should do this and build something, or So
But they're so supportive of everything we do, and that's awesome. So.
This is our burlap guys. I'm not gonna lie, I stole the vision of that from a Haunted Overload, which is, oh my gosh. I saw they had some burlap guys and I saw that's cool. We got to do something similar, and that looks really good. And again, that's just a mannequin with burlap, rope, and jute. And it's just every one of them looks different. But just sticking those things out in the corn, people just they don't want to walk by. They don't want to walk by them. I mean, you just kind of stick them a little bit off the path, kind of all in a row, like right behind a row, and they just no.
Except one guy this year that wanted to do a flying kick towards one.
Yeah.
Thankfully missed and just fell on his ass in the corn, which was hilarious.
Shay would like to know how many months of the year is dedicated to planning and building.
All year.
The whole year.
The whole
All
year.
of them. All of them.
Well, I mean, November is tear down, and of course, if we could, we're trying to do that more efficiently, so we have more time to start tearing down if we have to, as far as like any new scenes we want to build before the winter hits. But it's all year.
Bob would like to know, how long does it take to go through the haunt?
It's a mile long, and it takes probably around 45 minutes.
Unless you're running, literally
no.
running, you can go through. If we tie your hands and feet together and you have to drag yourself by your teeth, like 2 weeks. But yeah, about 40 to 45 minutes is about the average. We get a lot of parents that go, my kids went in they'll be out hopefully soon. So yeah, it takes quite a while to go through it.
Yeah, and we keep adding on to it. We're dumb.
Yeah.
Katrina would like to know,
This year,
do you have any off-season events, or is it strictly Halloween?
It's strictly Halloween here. As I said, we're kind of the elements just keep us, we're at bay with that. I mean,
yeah, I'd love to do something at Christmas or something, but with the snow and the weather just doesn't really allow for it. I mean, we got great parking for it and everything, but it's just, if we ever had an indoor haunt or a building out here that we could put something indoor.
Oh yeah, we would definitely do that. But yeah, it's just.
And our actors would kill us.
Yes.
Sean would like to know, do you build scenes inside the cornfield, or are all the buildings outside the cornfield?
Every building that we have is outside. Everything's outside. We're actually redoing the whole corn next year. It's been the same for about 5 years. But everything will be movable. So we're going to build everything out of steel and then, facade it, but everything will be movable because I think we're going to do another little small town out in the middle of the corn. But a big thing we're doing is, I said, with the new witch coming involved and all that. She's going to take over the cornfield next year, so we're going to add a lot of fantasy type creatures in there and different types of buildings and stuff like that out there. But yeah, every single thing is outside.
Yeah, and going back, I think the question might also be the ghost town itself. Everything is next to the corn. Within the corn and within the path, we'll have some shacks throughout.
Yeah.
Which again is what we're going to kind of do a little bit. But so it's kind of a two-part haunt almost between the cornfield and the ghost town. All the buildings in the ghost town are permanent, except of course anything we tear down to change to a different kind of set.
The only thing that's movable is what stuff out in the corn.
Shanna would like to know, what tips or safety advice do you give to your actors that are outside?
Dress appropriately. Watch the weather channels.
Yes.
We try to warn people ahead of time. We tell them to bring different types of clothing with them.
Basically, you live out of your car and that's what I do, is I bring everything with me. It's in the back seat in a bag. That way I'm always prepared.
Yeah. One of the things that was never done before that we're slowly starting to do is for when we have some of the colder nights, when we go shopping for costume pieces and things, we're starting to look at more jackets that can be jackets and coats that can be altered to look more period, because this is like 1890 to 1900. And so over the next couple of years, we're building up on coats and jackets so that there can be more layers for our actors when some of the colder nights start hitting. So that's a slow process because we need a lot of them, but we're adding them.
Rob would like to know, who does your actor makeups, or how many makeup artists do you have? Looks awesome.
Well, we have a team of six,
Okay.
that's run by a gentleman by the name of Richard Pearson. And he's part of that six. And actually, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. It's actually up to 8 now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It started off at 6 before, but it's actually now up to 8. And we have a makeup room. Everybody rotates through there. Now, this particular makeup, though, was actually done by Justin Fears. And he did this particular makeup for us for some video and some pictures that we were doing.
Love you, Justin.
Yeah. But our makeup team is, amazing. Shameless plug. My daughter is one of our makeup artists and actors, and she's unbelievable. But all of our artists are really, really good.
We actually bought some masks this year. We're actually a very makeup heavy haunt. So again, we brought some masks this year to kind of help the makeup artists because they're doing so much makeup every night.
Yeah, so many actors. We get more and more and more actors, and we only have so many makeup artists, and trying to get them all done in a 2-hour period or 2.5-hour period can get a little challenging.
Now,
Sean would like to know, if your haunt is outside, what does the fire department look for when they're doing their inspections?
Of course, outside. I mean, really, it's more or less okay. Do you have anything that's over your head? Of course, because they don't want you got to have a sprinkler system. But main thing is just emergency exits, fire extinguishers, clear path, and of course emergency lights.
Excellent. And you guys provided us with a video here.
Oh yeah, because I didn't have any pictures. All we had is a video because we do most of our stuff on TikTok as far as our builds and stuff like that. So shameless plug.
And of course this is during the day,
this is during the day. We're not finished yet, and so it's just basically going through a new section that we built. This is what we call Old Town.
And when he was mentioning earlier, a lot of this last year we lit with lanterns that have the flickery lights, so the lighting is constantly moving, and it's just bright enough that you can see everything, but the lighting actually just adds so much to these particular scenes.
That was a pooping cow.
But there's a cow that like blows air out the path as we walk by.
Of course, that's after you go through the corn. And then we could, come back through. This is my actor playground right here. I love that scene.
I can imagine there's a lot of spots in there for everybody to have fun.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that's in here is probably about 1/6 of the entire haunt. The place is huge. When I first came here back in 2018, even before it got built up, I was amazed by how big a place it was and how big of an operation it was. Yes,
I'm
I'd
tired.
like to know if you guys have security throughout to ensure actor safety.
Yes.
security cameras.
We have security. We have
Even,
cameras.
cameras even in the corn that are wireless. So yeah, we try to keep a really close eye on everybody.
How many security cameras here?
How many? I think 12.
Yeah, 12 security people.
All right, 2 questions. I'm assuming that was Bart that took that video. Bart, how tired were you at the end of that run?
Oh no, that's
And-
for TikTok. You can only have a 3-minute video.
yeah.
And okay, I think at that time you could only have a 2-minute video, and so so it's sped up. Yeah.
And secondly, when you guys are building a scene, and you guys talk about, December plans are already set. Do you guys have the actor spots already designed at that point, or are you
Yes.
guys adapting
Oh,
as you're building?
when I build a set, I build it with the actor in mind. I don't, and I try to tell everybody that is the actor is the main thing about the whole scene. If you build a scene and then think about the actor afterwards, there's nowhere for an actor to come out of. There's nowhere for. I mean, it's just you gotta build it with the actor in mind.
That was a lot of drinking.
Right. I'm running low. I think.
And not to mention the actors.
Yeah. We're like John says, it's all about the actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys,
Thaddeus
I'm
would
gonna
like to
get-
know, was
Since
the
the guy
plan planned out
took the
before
water.
the build or after?
The path was planned out. You're talking about the new path is always planned out.
Okay.
And then in the cornfield part, every year the path is different.
Yeah,
we
and so
design it
because we
differently
have to
each
wait for the corn to get up to about 6 inches, and then we go out with a tiller and run through for our path.
Excellent. Oh, and Hessian Manor would like to know, this is funny, Miles. Were you both gray before you started at this haunt?
I was. I've been
Excellent.
gray since I started going gray in 7th grade. I had salt and pepper hair in high school. I tell you what, it was awesome then because I could grow a beard. It was dark, not now, but I mean, it was dark. And of course, at that time, I could get alcohol anytime I wanted underage because I had gray hair and could grow a beard.
I went gray when I started working with him.
But I did. I was looking at everybody and I'm like, okay, we're the old guys.
Hey, I'm there with you. Come on now. I'm the old lady over here.
I know my shit was black like 2 years ago. It's like, nope.
I don't know. Everybody always forgets because I'm way older than everybody thinks I am. So it's like I'm way older than he is. So our actor's like, oh, I think you're about this. And I'm like, oh no.
That doesn't suck.
Again, thank you
Bobby
guys.
don't feel that way.
Again, thank you guys for coming on and sharing everything that you've
Thank
done.
you for having us.
I just wish we had more to show.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Next year we'll have you guys on again. You'll have more to show. So
Yes.
There you
get
go.
ready.
We're
We're gonna hold you to it. So definitely check out all their work if you haven't seen it. A Haunter's Life, pretty hard to miss that one. But go check out all their work. YouTube.
On TikTok.
Facebook,
You're on TikTok.
TikTok now. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, keep up the great work. Thank you again so much for sharing all your work, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Actor.
Actor.
Throw no water. It's not even fair.
I know.
All right. So Paul and Dave.
Yeah, on to the guys without the gray hair.
I got gray in the beard, just a little bit.
Yeah, this gray hair. We all have gray. We're old. We're all.
Now, I didn't get
Someday.
the chance to ask you guys in the beginning, but what would be your obstacle as far as, would you say time also? I don't want to put that out there to make it be like, oh yeah, but
I kind of mentioned time definitely is, but the weather just
Time and weather. There's
Yeah.
never enough good of either one to
Nope.
make it. Especially being outside, we're kind of, plus everything else we have to do. We don't have enough time, and the weather is always a pain in the ass. However, this last season we had absolutely perfect 13 nights, and we were good to go.
Yeah.
It's a rarity.
Sweet.
lucky number 13. Yep. And there's that Viking ship I was telling you about earlier.
There it is. Yeah, there's with the Aeromis system on it,
Yeah.
blowing the cool fog coming down at you. Yeah, that's another Rainier Pete. She did the sail,
sail for it.
and you and myself and a couple others, we did the hull, and Jason did the carving on the front. Yeah, that was a collaborative effort from
Definitely
a lot of
team
people.
effort.
So
And this is on water.
Yeah, it's floating.
So you're floating. You walk across a floating bridge, floating dock to get onto the floating Viking ship, and
Nice, incredible. Yeah,
with a bunch of actors.
Ring is our favorite piece, man.
Yeah,
From back in the day.
Yeah, I love her to
I
death.
miss you, girl. I miss you.
Yeah, I miss her too. She moved down to the Outer Banks. I went and
know.
saw her a couple weeks ago, and she's loving life. And I'm really struggling. I'm like, please God, come back. We need you. Such a crucial addition. But
hey, she's gonna miss it. I guarantee you that.
yeah,
I hope so. I really hope that's the rub. But we'll see.
She'll come back.
So that.
She'll come back.
So remember the 5-finger death punch?
Yeah, the 5-finger death punch picture. That's the clown face. We repurposed that to the entrance of the circus tent, and it's a legit circus tent we got from some carnies in New York. Yeah. The boss drove out to this weird place to pick up this tent, and he shows up. And our boss is a good Mormon boy. He is pure and saintly and amazing.
Paul.
Here's Rainia.
Oh,
There she
hey,
is.
Rainia. Love you. Miss you. Did Adam catch any fish today? Just curious. They're all in the Outer Banks chilling, having a good time. So he goes and buys this tent, and he shows up with this carny circus thing, and they're all eyeballing him like he's fresh meat. And he just tells this story about how it was the most terrifying thing he'd ever lived through. But we got this great circus tent out of it, and that's our entrance.
What you don't see is just before this, there's a full-size Ferris wheel.
I think there's a picture coming up next.
Hopefully.
What's the next one?
All right, hold on real quick. I just wanted to point out the slab wood.
Oh,
Again,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
another case of the slab wood being used, and it could be used everywhere. It's
We use it. We
great
use
stuff.
it everywhere because we have a lot coming from our sawmill. So everything that
Nonstop.
gets saved, we're either using it.
So you really do have a sawmill of your own.
We
Oh,
do
we
have
do.
our own sawmill.
We
Yeah.
absolutely do.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Yep.
guys suck.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes. Yeah, the sawmill is crucial, and we're cranking out wood nonstop. So going to Home
all year
Depot,
long.
it's just 2x4s galore. It's amazing.
The only thing I wish we could do is pressure treat everything because that's the one thing we
Yes.
gotta go back to Home Depot for. Is
Yeah, because anything we mill out, you ground contact. The next day, the termites are like, "Oh, buffet, what's going on?" Fuck, it's done. Yeah,
Well,
so
there is that full-size Ferris wheel that's tucked out in the woods, and it's wild because this is old growth woods, giant trees all over the place, and you have this towering,
that's-
rotting, decrepit Ferris wheel.
It's a
back there.
legit 60-foot Ferris wheel. And the funny story about that one is that the owner and one of our associates went out again, New York.
No,
Or-
Detroit.
Was it Detroit? So they make a deal. They buy this thing. It's all trailered up on this janky ass thing. And they're driving down the road and they blow a tire at maybe 2:00 in the morning in the middle of goddamn nowhere. So they went looking around. They finally drove around, found some guy that had a trailer in his driveway with a tire that was about the same size. So the
Right
boss
lug
man,
pattern.
yeah, right lug pattern, everything. Like Nick just leaves him an envelope of money with a note that says, "I'm really sorry we had to take your tire, but we were in a bad spot." And they steal the guy's tire and they put it on the trailer and they roll the fuck out. Like,
Oh my
go
God.
on.
Hey, you are gonna get shot in Detroit, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
So you don't mess with tires.
Oh my God, it was a caper, and then they show back up with this thing, and it's been there forever. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Wow. Well, there's the big ass doors.
Yeah.
That's another
That's
Ozzy
another
Osbourne
Black
Black
Sabbath.
Sabbath specialty. It came with the gargoyles
Yeah,
earlier.
the gargoyles. So yeah, we call that big ass doors when the people key up on the radio. Like, yeah, I'm at big ass doors. I have a problem with a drunken patron. We're like, okay, we're going to big ass doors because they're big ass doors.
The Viking swords, though,
Love
of
that.
course, were added by us.
Yeah,
as well as
we
all
made
the
those.
stuff.
Those were fun. Those are all out of slab wood that we milled and then hit it with a sander. And one of our really talented artists, Jason, he carved the hilts out of foam, and I hard coated them. And it's kind of like the gates of Valhalla that you go through into the Viking
it is
village.
the big entrance to the Viking village.
Courtney would like to know what's the craziest thing that you've put to use in your haunt in an unexpected way.
Hi, Courtney. How are you? I took Alan's monster camp with Courtney. Her and I were our table buddies when we were making our sculptures, and I didn't know how to sculpt a
Super
damn
good
thing.
people.
Oh
Super
yeah,
good
she's
people.
amazing, and she's a brilliant sculptor, and she helped me a lot. So thank you, Courtney. What was her question again?
The craziest thing. Well, one of the crazier things would be in this scene right here. There's an
crazy things.
There's an airplane in here. This is our junkyard. So there is an actual airplane in here, along with a half a dozen buses.
That's the original
uh,
haunted bus
scissor
right
lifts, cranes, all sorts of things. And there's Rainia's boyfriend Adam DJing in our junkyard.
Yeah, with the fireballs going off. That was something I've wanted to have for more than a decade. Halloween night, Adam sets up his turntables. He's pounding the flame guns, playing some dubstep, and it was the most incredible night we've ever had. So that was just
Sweet.
like the finishing moment to our 2021 season. What is it, 22 now? 21?
Yeah, we're at 22.
Yeah. It was awesome. So when you go into the junkyard, it's kind of, you get scared the whole entire time. You're in the haunted forest, you're terrified. And then you go into this area, it's just garbage and buses and flipped over Jeeps and fireballs and spray paint
Hearses.
and lights, stuff. You know, we got the custom CNC'd sign with the fire coming out of it. It's the grand finale of things. So you go from being terrified to having your senses blown, and you finally walk out of all this and you're like, I'm done. Like, I've arrived. It's awesome. So
Scott would
that
like
is
to
our-
know, what sort of flamethrower is that?
So we utilize a couple things. That is a Galaxis unit, and it is a German unit again. We love the Germans for some reason. So
The Germans.
the Germans
Yes.
makes a great fire. Yeah, so I don't want to get too technical on things, but it's an amazing unit. It's wireless. It's DMXable. The battery lasts for about 15 hours. Completely compliant. It's not UL listed because they don't do that in Germany. Anyways, if you want to know more about it, like direct message me on Facebook. I'll tell you all about it. We use them in the field for all kinds of sports games, Redskins, Ravens, I'm sorry, they're not Redskins anymore. But
The Commanders.
the Commanders, right. Anyways,
Whatever.
continue on. Next picture. This is the town. This is your show.
This is part of the town. This is one of our main streets. So one thing I was tasked with doing, or I should say the struggle, is that this is a space that's used throughout the season for other reasons. Why they wanted to do a Western thing back there was that the owner's mother wanted to have horseback riding parties back here. So because we have probably 20 to 30 horses on our farm.
Too many horses.
Too many horses on our farm.
Horses are terrifying.
They want
I'm
it to
scared
be
of horses.
clean and pretty so they can ride through on horseback.
Big.
Yeah.
They're huge.
And so all of our
That's what she
haunt takes place behind the walls. So most patrons don't get to see these facades because they're actually walking through the buildings behind them. So it's a little bit of a maze, similar to, I love that we have the Western theme going on for both these haunts. But
we built the water tower.
yes, we did build the water tower. That's not prefab.
Holy shit.
Yes, and it's just be refurb. But you're looking right now. We have the General store to our right. Back there in the back is part of our asylum. There's a saloon just behind the water tower, and
Mike,
that's where
you can come on in.
Mike, come on. There's actually a room in the saloon. That was my bed. You guys were joking around about the cot setting up, and I have a queen size mattress in the top of the saloon.
He straight up does.
Because I live there during the months of September and October.
Yeah, there it is, the General store.
Funny thing about that, so the original sign way back in the day, I had a Costa Rican gal painting it, and I thought her English was good enough.
Nope.
But a letter was missed. And what's great is that this is now multiple generations of the sign since then. But we've kept it that way, and it's great because I've designed shirts with that in like really small letters, and they will come back with artwork proofs. Being like, you misspelled this. I was like, oh yes, I know.
Oh yeah, we know.
I know. It is an inside joke that it's a General store.
General.
You had me a Costa Rican girl.
So that's looking at the General store, and you walk out the front of that onto the porch, and then over into the cemetery, and you can see it at night, all lit up. Really cool scene. I love it. One of my favorite actors is in there. He is there. The whole point of the General store is you can come in, you can buy whatever you want, but it's going to cost you the price of your soul. And he writes your name on a blackboard as you're walking through. So
it's a
whatever you
good
pick out,
interaction with the crowd. It's solid.
We take it. So we are in the town, especially. We're very actor driven and storyline driven, and so each scene that you come to, you meet the sheriff, and the sheriff tells you a little bit about what's going on in the town and why you're here and what's going on. And again, it's one of those reset times to where we can as those groups start bunching up together, we can split them back up into smaller groups, so it's a more enjoyable experience.
Was the sheriff
And
the
they
one that
just
shot
wind
the
their
gun
way
off
through.
when Obama's family was coming through? Was that it?
That was previous, but yes, we've had the Secret Service and the Obamas out, and
Fucking terrible. The radios went live.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we do use blanks, but there is live fire going on out there for some of our little skits that we do. So I don't know why the Secret Service would think it was a good idea to come back there.
Yeah, but they did.
But they did.
And then these yam bags, Secret Service is around the perimeter. It's Michelle Obama and the kids coming through, and these ass clowns start blasting off their cap guns in the middle of the fucking town. And the Secret Service is losing their fucking minds trying to figure out what's going on. Like, oh, there's an incident. Bad things are going to happen, because we're right outside of DC, of course.
Yes.
The first family is going to come visit us. And we've had several, and that's awesome that we're in that position to be able to host those type of caliber of guests.
Next time, though, you need to tell me so that I can prepare.
All right, I'm
Either
sorry.
Put the guns away.
Secret Service
or-
told me don't tell your staff we're coming through, but then they didn't know that our staff had cap guns with Bill
They're not-
upload planks.
They're not cap guns. They
Like,
are.
woo, going at it. Awesome. Oh, is that our Home Depot guy? Yes.
Everybody loves those Home Depot skeletons. This
we
is
bought
one of the pumpkin ones. It's hard because when you look at the price, I can't make something like that for that cheap.
For $299,
Yeah.
can anybody else on this
No.
channel that subscribes here? No, we can't.
Haunters Hangout, all the home haunters love this because you get an awesome prop. It's huge, it's big. You get a lot of bang for your buck by going with those giant skeletons.
Yeah,
So.
thank you, China. We love you.
Yeah.
So that's as you're getting in. This is where you get dropped off from your wagons, right on the edge of the cornfield. Again, you can see one of those giant pumpkin monsters standing there. And what's great is that our corn was about 12 feet tall, and he's still looming over that corn.
It was impressive. And
so-
that's one fog machine that did a good acre and a half of corn.
Yeah. So
One fog
we do
machine.
the same thing, inflatable
The tube of
tubing,
death.
the tube of death. It wraps around our corn maze, and so I've got a single fogger that runs at about 40% maybe.
Yeah. Doesn't take
and
much.
Doesn't take much, and it creates a really cool effect.
Trish would like to know, do your actors come up with their own backstories or do you direct them?
It's a bit of both, Trish.
We beat them with corn.
is this the farmer's market?
Yeah.
So I try to, my actors are the ones that spend the most amount of time in there. And I have some of them, the sheriff especially, he will come to me with pages and pages of notes and creating backstory for him and other characters and things. And
It's a little intense.
it is, but I love it because they're invested. They're a part of the town. And they are owning it and they're loving it. That last shot that you saw there, that's part of our mine shaft. What's really neat is that you actually walk, even though it's all enclosed, you walk downhill. So it does give you the illusion that you are going underground because you are physically dropping down and it's cold, it's damp, it's wet. We have some, again, the ultrasonic misters going through there. This year we even added a sluice box. So there's water pouring through the mine as they're out there.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Even the owners, the Markoffs, gal who lives on the farm, we asked her while in the middle of the mine shaft, do you know where you are right now? This is somebody that's lived there for years. And she's like, I have no idea where on the farm I am right now.
Why am I here?
Pretty much.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. P.S. The rest of you guys make us look like amateurs. Like, holy crap, why are we here?
No.
No,
Well,
absolutely
we appreciate
not.
you inviting us to be on here.
No.
because-
Oh, no.
We are so happy to have all of you on here, and you are all amazing, every
Well,
single
I mean,
one of you.
Dave and I are going to
appreciate
fanboy on the rest of you guys. Be like, oh my God, can we come hang out with you all? You guys are awesome.
We'll definitely see you at Transworld and hopefully see you at Midwest.
Yeah, maybe we'll
as
see you at
well.
Midwest and we can all hang out and we'll just absorb all your greatness.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's
you're
gonna be a
going to
good
absorb our
time.
greatness, but we'll be there.
Well, John, you okay?
I think
He said actor too many times and John
Too many
is dropping
actors.
his phone.
Too many actors.
Too many actors.
So many actors. So many.
It's thank you guys really for coming on and sharing. Like, guys that do an amazing job. It's sad, we're the season finale here, but we had a great season, guys. So to all the viewers, thank you guys for tuning in and spending the time with us to, give our community the knowledge, the help that it needs, and we really appreciate everybody, all of our guests, all of our viewers. Thank you guys so much.
Yep.
Definitely,
Oh.
definitely.
Thanks for having us, man. This is a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
thank you
Really
so
enjoyed
much.
it.
It's awesome.
We appreciate
And-
all of you so much, and thank you also to our sponsors. You guys provided all these fantastic prizes for this season, and we are so grateful. We'll have a little shout out for you at MHC as well. Thank you again. And Jose, anything else you'd like to say before I get on with these prizes?
Dude, I'm just in awe, man, because these are like my favorite people right here. So,
Yep.
hey, it's like
Yes.
popcorn on the couch, man.
There you go. Effing rock stars, Ted says. Yep. Therese says, great way to end a season. Amazing season. Yep.
Haunters for life, baby. Haunters for life.
Honors for life. Yep.
So,
Excellent.
all right, guys, I'm going to pass over to Pandora now. We're going to get to our amazing sponsors and prizes.
We are. Thank you guys again so much for a fantastic season. Thank you to our guest tonight, to John Laflamboy, Hell's Gate Haunted House, Paul and Dave of Markoff's Haunted Forest, Mike and Bart of Terror in the Corn right here in Colorado. We appreciate you all so much. If I call your name tonight to win a prize, please make sure that you contact Deoblo by Saturday night. If you do not hear back from him by Monday, you are welcome to message him again. If you have won a physical prize, please make sure that you include your physical address so that can be sent to you. And if you are the winner of the shirt, please make sure you also include your shirt size. And with that, from Toxic Effects, you're able to choose any prize of your choice from the last 10 shows. That goes to Dennis Van Landuyt. Horror Ornaments, the mistletoe, goes to Dudley Halcomb. Fright Night Studios, the male head on a platter, to Sean Boswell. Scarlet Badges, 10 assorted badges, to Mandy Gibson. 916 Productions, $25 off, Rob Smith Jr. Halloween Shirt Company, the free shirt, Mark Trailer. Froggy's Fog, Gallon of Bog Fog, goes to Pam Gaetano Sanders. Ned's LEDs, LED candles, goes to Michelle Schulte. Drop Dead Design Studios, 25% off, to Bobby Platt. Nightmare Makers, 2 unfinished skulls, to Christina Bartels. Sam Haynes, free download, Nate Dingman. Atmos Effects, free download, Sean Polium. Fright Props, $25 off, Gary Fay. Rotten Prop Works, set of zombie arms, to Ricky Dick. Monsters Alive, the grab bag gift, to Joshua Roa St. Pierre. Cobwebs and Candlesticks, grab bag gift, to Ted Dennison. Monster Tutorials sticker pack, to Scott Mousseau. From Diablo himself, an unfinished mask, goes to Christopher Presley.
Unless you want it painted, then it's going to take a little longer.
Yep. So you get in contact with him, Christopher, and you guys can work that out. From VFX Creates, the Minion effects system, goes to Rob Beach. Congratulations to all our winners. Thank you again so much to our sponsors. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much to our guests. We wouldn't have a show without you, and we appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
Hey, it's been an amazing season. We had a lot of great guests, man. It's been awesome, and it's a privilege for us to meet everybody on every show that we have. And we want to thank you guys for sure, and thank everybody that's been on all the shows. And thank you. And that's the end of our season, and we're going to start back up in February. So now it's time to start haunting.
Yeah.
Get out there and
Time,
start building
time to get
shit.
building. That's right.
Yeah.
Busy.
And
You've been building already, but get out there and build shit, guys.
Yeah,
And
time to
hopefully-
come see all of us in
Already.
Markoff's Haunted Forest. That's what time it is. Just saying.
that's what time it is. And hopefully we see you all at MHC. Haunters Hangout. We'll have a booth for y'all to hang out and chit chat and get together at MHC this year. So come visit us, say hello. We're looking
I'll
forward
need a
to it.
12-pack of Heineken. Just saying.
I need my stick figure back. We're gonna have to carry that one around.
Appreciate y'all. Happy haunting.
Honors, baby.
Thank
Honors
you,
for
everyone.
life.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, MHD.
I'm out of liquor.